would be why. We need that cord. Plug that cord in. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
I made a really quick, silly drink on my way out the door, which includes a little half scoop of mocha powder, milk, ice, and a peppermint tea bag. So it kind of tastes like a frappuccino.
Yum.
Yum. Pretty much like chocolate peppermint milk. Why does that not exist?
Maybe it exists at like Christmas time. Oh, for fuck's sakes, I bet.
No, you know, Christmas time's dedicated to eggnog.
Yeah, but they come out with like whack ass coffee creamer flavoring
I
things.
know, and they all taste like disgusting oil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not my favorite. I mean, peppermint's pretty easy to do, like, naturally. You just put a tea bag in anything and it tastes like peppermint.
What?
And you don't get as much sugary crap in your drinks. That's what I do with everything. Hot chocolate, I want peppermint hot chocolate, put a tea bag in it.
Like peppermint tea.
Yeah.
Not just like any tea.
Just peppermint tea.
Okay. I was like,
Put a tea bag
am
in
I
it.
fucking stupid? Like all tea tastes like peppermint if you
No,
put it.
no, just dedicated peppermint tea.
Gotcha. It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. We're back, bitches.
I'm Jade.
And I'm Erin.
And we are unapologetic introverts.
I'm also very tired.
I have a headache.
Me too. I've had one all day. I'm thinking it's the pressure change with the crazy weather. We're apparently supposed to get a tornado tomorrow.
Honestly, that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think mine's because my hair is up,
That'll do it.
but it hasn't been up all day. It was down all day. We had like goodbye celebration thing for someone at work today.
Bye.
And I had a drink.
Oh, is it who I'm thinking it was?
No.
Okay, I was like,
No.
Yeah.
And I finished said drink. Said drink was very strong.
Oh, what did you drink?
I had a frozen creamsicle.
Ew, sounds sweet.
Just straight up fucking alcohol is what it
Just
tasted
vodka,
like.
probably.
Yeah. Vodka, triple sec, Somnouse, and then stuff.
Interesting.
Sydney had like a frozen peach thing.
Bellini?
I don't know. It wasn't that fancy.
No?
And I had a sip of it. All I could taste was peach. And she sipped mine and she was like, oh. I was like, yeah, it's a little rough.
Someone was trying to get you.
So I finished that and was like, oh, I have a headache now. I've kind of had one since.
Yeah, triple sec probably going to be like...
But mostly if I'm going to drink, and I don't normally drink, my drinks are vodka.
Yeah, fair.
But that one was like, all you could taste was alcohol. I was like, I don't even
Too
taste
much.
any orange. I was like, this is not fun.
Not balanced enough.
No. It was cold, so that was nice.
Celebrate.
How has your week been? It's only been 2-3 days.
Today, I had a very crazy experience. I don't even know how to describe this. So it all started with a phone call to my coworker.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't even know if it's the same person. So let's just assume it is the same person because it would be oddly coincidental if this happened all within the same 20 minutes.
I'm going to just shut the window in case they can hear the lawnmower, but keep
That's
talking.
Okay. Okay. So basically, we got a phone call and my coworker picked up and all he could hear was this guy going off on him and calling him names like crazy. Oh, he called him the N-word.
Oh, okay.
My coworker is about as white as it comes, Dutch. Yeah.
The person on the phone can't.
No. But I don't know why. And he just hung up because obviously that was not appreciated. And yeah, so he hung up. I get a call and I pick up the next call. He didn't tell me about it.
Oh, the coworker didn't tell you about it?
No, he didn't tell me about it. He was just like, he did tell me, but he said, I just had the weirdest call. Someone was like calling me names and being really weird. And I just hung up on them. I think they might have called the wrong person.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, well, let the boss know or whatever if you're upset about it or we need to block a number or whatever, right? So he's like, oh, no, I think it's just a missed call. So, or not a missed call, but a wrong number or whatever. So I was like, okay, no problem. We went on with their lives. I think it was like a half hour later, maybe. I was trying to fix a computer. When am I not trying to fix a computer? And I pick up the next call, and this guy immediately, and we don't know if this was a real person or like an AI voice thing. It was very strange. Immediately says, "What's your name?" And I'm like, "I'm not about to give you my name. Can you tell me what the purpose of your call is?" And he's like, "Well, one of your coworkers was just talking really rudely to me." And I'm like, "Sorry? As far as I'm aware, nobody's been on the phone for the past half an hour.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't had a call." And he's like, "What's the name of your coworker?" It's one of those, like, she just kept trying to get more information from me. And I said, "Let me direct you to my boss.
Yeah.
If you're upset, and I can let you deal with him." And, I said my boss's name and whatever. And I said, he'd be happy to help you out if something was wrong, or you can discuss what my coworker apparently said over the phone to you, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Can I get your name?"
Mm-hmm.
And I got the name, which I don't even know if it's real. I don't even remember the last name. His first name is Brian or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, just very weird. He was fine with me.
Mm-hmm. Just like upset.
Just upset sounding. And I was like, "Okay, just hold on a sec, sir. Thanks, Brian. I'll transfer you over." So I put him on mute because we don't actually have a transferring system.
Mm-hmm.
Double checked that I had it on mute just in case, because I knew I was about to walk in my boss's office and talk shit about this guy.
Is it like a cordless phone?
Yeah, it's a cordless phone. Yeah. One of those VTech things.
Yeah.
Every household since, late 2000s has had one. So put him on mute. Take it into my boss's room, and I explain, there is this irate customer on the phone.
Maybe not even a customer.
I don't even know if he's a customer. There's just a person here, and I don't know if he has the right number, and I don't know what he's talking about. He's saying that my coworker said this, and this about him, and he's just losing it. And so I passed the phone over, and with our phones, if it's on mute, in order to hear the next person pick up, we have to listen for them. Like, so when they pick up it and they start talking, we hear it, and then we have to end the call.
Oh, so you could we
can actually hear it. So I did that, and this guy I've never heard someone just go. It wasn't even yelling. It was just like insults after insults after insults, and it was like almost like a scripted.
That's weird.
Recording.
Yeah.
But then I'm thinking back, how is he talking to me?
Yeah.
And responding to all of my questions like very naturally, very human. I heard that too, but I don't think they'll hear it.
I couldn't tell if someone yelled or if Bob sneezed.
I think it was a sneeze.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty sure sneeze. Anyways, weirdest. We were haunted for about an hour after that because I thought he was going to call back, and I was really worried about my coworker because that was very aggressive.
Yeah.
And but not aggressive to me.
That's weird.
Didn't say a darn thing about me.
You should have had, when you had it on mute, you should have, called your coworker over and been like, is this the guy?
Is this the guy? Yeah, I didn't even think about that. It was just like, oh, I'm trying to solve a problem. I didn't even know if it was the same guy. And we checked the numbers, and they weren't the same number.
They weren't the same. Oh, okay.
But the name of the person on the phone, because, you get caller ID or whatever, wasn't the same person, or the person on the phone who was talking to me was not the same name as the person who owned that phone number.
Oh, okay.
So we were thinking, oh, maybe it was like a routed call through this person's phone number.
That's fucking weird.
And just causing grief.
A ruckus.
Anyways, I recommend to anybody who ever picks up these kind of random calls and someone immediately asks you, what's your name? Do not give them your name.
No. I've dealt with many customers on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And, if they go on and on and on. If I've been talking to them and working through a situation, then but to just start, you say hello and they go, What is your name? Who are you?
Because I, when I pick up the phone, I say, oh, business. Hi, it's business name.
Yeah.
How can I help you?
Yeah.
And immediately, if you ask me, what's your name?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be like, let me know what the purpose of your call is, and maybe I'll let you know my name. Because I've been in a lot of weird phone calls with fake Bell representatives and stuff who are just constantly trying to get information. It's like, what role do you play in the company, and what's your contact email, and what's your phone number, and what's your full name? And I say, I'm not giving you my full name ever. I don't represent the company past coming to work and doing the job. I cannot operate your accounts. That's nothing to do with me. Yeah. I'm not being responsible for that shit.
I remember the one time when I worked at the car dealership, the duct cleaning people.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, all the time. They're everywhere.
So the car dealership, there's 2 dealerships, same lot, same owners. And everyone's phone line is in the same system, so everyone has like a separate phone number essentially. And you'd know they'd start calling because it would like start back in service, and then it would go to sales, and then it'd be over at the other dealership, and then it'd be me at reception, and then it'd be upstairs. And for the longest time, like it's them because it's like V1264, like the stupidest number, like it
they're
starts with a
fake
letter.
numbers.
And most of the time when you would pick up, like every time that I picked it up because I was bored, nobody was there. And I remember one of the girls up in accounting had answered it and tried to get them going, and I was up there when she was doing it. And she was like, okay, how many bedrooms? I have 10. She's like, no sir, I'm serious, like I have 10 bedrooms. And so and so like went on, and he called her a fucking bitch and hung up.
What?
She was like, damn,
well,
what if I was rich?
Yeah, what if you want to come to my super mansion? Like, we got those in town. It's
but
quite
also,
possible.
If you're gonna phone a whole ass company and ring every single phone in the building, get fucked.
Yeah, it's all auto dial, right? They sit in a big room full of auto dialers, and whoever picks up first wins the lottery of talking to someone for 10 minutes.
Do you have duct cleaning? No, but can you clean my geese?
I gotta remember that one for the next time that happens to me.
Please. Damn,
that was my day. That was my week in a day.
It's weird.
It's been a long week. I'm tired.
I've read 2 books since we last talked.
Yay!
They were so good. To anyone out there that is reading the Throne of Glass series, I read Assassin's Blade first, which I thought it came out like that. Assassin's Blade didn't come out. It came out with like the 4th book.
Oh.
So that's another way of reading it. That's how Sydney's going to read it, I think.
Oh, so there's different ways of
you can read it at the
organizing
beginning. You can read it when it comes out. Oh, sorry. And then you can read it before Queen of Shadows. I don't know.
Sounds familiar.
That's when Sydney's reading it. That's the emotional damage route.
Oh.
Or you can read it at the very end. However, and I'm not spoiling anything, Assassin's Blade is a prequel to Throne of Glass. So you get all this character development.
Right.
So I like the way I chose to read it because I learned all this stuff about the character, and then it jumps right into Throne of Glass.
Oh, okay.
So I understand more that's happened. And people are like, oh, you don't get attached to the character. I'm like, what the fuck you mean I don't get attached? I was so attached.
Into it. You're deep into it.
Yeah, like so much stuff happened. And, trauma. And I think it would be weird, and I'll see when I get to Queen of Shadows, if it's going to be super weird to be like, oh, I didn't know any of this, and then read it. I don't know. It just seems weird because you would go back in time.
That's strange.
So I'm excited. I'm on the 2nd book. I stopped at the end of chapter 17 the other night.
Oh.
Because I needed to stop myself from reading.
Shut that shit down so you sleep.
Oh, I wasn't even late.
Oh.
I was just like, okay, that's enough. You just read 17 chapters in a sitting. Like, chill.
You got this.
Last week when we caught up, I feel like I talked the whole time. So I'm really glad you had a story.
Really? Because I feel like I talked the whole entire time.
I don't know if it's because I had to also edit and listen, but I was just like, Jade, shut up.
Nah. Just keep talking over Aaron. It's fine.
I'm sorry. We have Paris next week.
Yeah, so
which is exciting.
It's gonna be so good.
Yes, I'm
It's gonna be hot as balls.
glad we don't have to stand in line for that long.
Yeah, and we're seated, right?
Yeah, we're in the balcony.
Thank.
Hopefully it's not too hot up there.
You know what? That's fine. I'm okay with it if we have seats.
Yeah, we have seats.
Honestly,
I think there's like one row in front of us, but that's it.
that's not bad.
Because there's like quite a few rows in the balcony, but
I'm
was
excited.
like, we're off to like the left.
I wonder if this is the same place I saw they used at.
We were supposed to go see the main there, but we were going to be down on the floor.
Oh, okay.
I just know I can park like behind a Shoppers Drug Mart.
That might be the same place.
Yeah. And then I'm taking a second to shame us because the amount of shit I had to cut out of episode 14. It was not just you. I think it's because we're doing like fast, like.
Well, we were doing rapid pace, so it was like.
Oh,
like what I'm doing right now is saying like about 400.
No,
like
that's
times.
fine. I'd rather you say like than me hear us go. I'm like, oh my god. And there's still some in episode 14. Don't get me wrong. I cut out so many.
2,500.
So many.
2,500.
I was like, holy crap.
Turn the switch in my brain right now to try and actively not say that word as often in this, but we are doing research-based stuff, which lends itself to doing that. Yeah,
it's just 2 stories, so that's not as horrible.
Well, I only have 1, but that's okay.
That's okay.
I'll be the sandwich.
You'll be a sandwich, okay? But I was editing it, and I had to take a break. I took a couple breaks actually.
You grew a few horns and was like, "Oh, you loser!"
It was literally every time we said a new thing.
Nope.
Luckily, it was long enough, most of them, where I could see it and just go, "I'm not even listening at this point." Like I know we're not saying anything important, and we didn't
because mine were numbered. So every time I see a number, I go,
Yeah, right.
This time not as numbered, so maybe I'll actually pull this shit together.
I'd see I did again. Freak me. My grandmother answered a question. So on Mosh Pit, I had asked, what is your all-time favorite concert you've been to? And she says she's only been to one, and it was Billy Ray Cyrus.
Oh, interesting. I hope it was a good one.
I hope so.
I've never really heard him sing live before, so
no,
not live, but even on television live, because it's not a genre that I'm overly interested in seeing live. Not
really. Oh, and then also
do like his daughters though. Some good music.
Actually, it was on the news or E-Talk. Probably not the news. He just got divorced.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, Billy Ray Cyrus is who's his? Never mind. Maybe I don't know his kids.
Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, and Noah?
Yeah, and then they have a brother.
Okay, I really like Noah's music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her eyebrows kind of scared me.
A little bit, but you know what? That's fine. That's a choice.
So I just heard my dad again. Last week, Hunter said, he left us a review and
we couldn't find it.
It showed up.
I think it had to be validated probably by Apple or whatever.
I was going to say, did you approve anything?
No, it probably had to be like reviewed by like an AI robot.
Well, it also takes Apple like 7 hours to upload our freaking podcast.
You know what? But if you look at the state of iTunes, it's sad. It's just Apple used to be the leader of music.
I can't believe I used to pay $1.29 a song.
Or for a whole album. Gross.
Like, what?
Now I kind of feel bad about that because I know that music may have been going to the artist more.
Like we talked about this. I'm still buying albums.
I still buy the goodies and I still buy the merch. And if I have a bigger space going into the future, you best believe I'm collecting some vinyls to put as a display on a wall somewhere.
Yes.
Just saying.
Hunter, he graduated. Cindy sent us photos. It was cute. He had his big dinner. Yada, yada, yada. I hope he enjoys that shout out that goes out in a couple days.
Yeah.
And
congratulations again.
So he gave us 5 stars.
5 stars.
He said, killing it. big fan of the podcast, brackets, end of Stacy, Sydney. And she goes, oh, he spelt it wrong and he told me he did that on purpose. Keep up the funny stories and tangents. They help me get through the workday. Phenomena.
Oh,
Oh my God, Hunter, I love you. Thank you so much.
You get a big phenomena
Yep.
shout out there.
You get a
Phenomena. I sound the same no matter how I say that. That's so weird.
So now we have 4 5-star reviews on Apple. One of them is Sydney.
Sydney, shout out to Sydney for your 5-star review. We need those.
And
need all the stars.
Spotify. You know what's weird? In our Spotify analytics, I can't see our reviews. I have to actually go on Spotify and look us up.
It's weird.
On Spotify, we have 7 5-stars.
Oh, we're collecting them.
We are.
Look at us go.
Cute. It's playing things. Okay.
We love it.
Oh, my day list today.
Oh, yes.
Paranormal Storm Wednesday evening.
Oh, that's sick.
You listen to Unplugged and Acoustic Cover on Wednesday in the evening. Here's some Paranormal Storm, heist, dark fantasy, royalcore, and mystical. The first song is called Scars by Boy Epic. Then it's Monsters by Rule. What is in dark fantasy?
I don't know, but I like your title. That's badass.
Yeah. What? Like, paranormal.
What's the song?
Man or Monster featuring Jade Wolf? I have no idea what this is.
Interesting. Maybe save it and add it to your queue.
Sounds kind of spooky. It might have been in the... So I found... Stop playing. I found a playlist strictly for Assassin's Blade. And listened to that while I read. And then I found a Throne of Glass that was like 17 hours long.
Damn.
That I assumed was just for the first book, but I think it's for the series. Because when I went to find something for Crown of Midnight, which is the second one, I couldn't find one I liked. So I've just been listening to the 17-hour playlist.
Holy shit, it would take me 17 hours just to read the first book, I think.
It's not that long.
It's taking me so long. Listen, I'm one chapter in.
Heck yeah.
We know a little bit of what's going on.
Yay.
Do I remember any of the characters' names so far?
Nope.
No. I'm sure they're not quite important. I'm sure it moves past them into a different realm of what the W.
That's okay.
Okay, but what was the first song in your day list? Did you say it? I don't think you said it.
I did. It's okay. I'll say it again.
You were really fast.
It's called Scars by Boy Epic.
Oh, okay. Okay, you said it really fast, but it's really short.
It is really short.
Because I always get songs with like stupid long titles a lot of the time.
You do.
Mine is called Heavy Rock Headbanging Wednesday Evening.
That sounds like a headache.
It was definitely accurate for my drive home. Some really good songs on here. Roses, Awaken I Am. Mm-hmm. We got Dark Suns by Sleep Token. Mm-hmm. Anomaly by I See Stars.
Last week.
I know. I don't grow out of Sleep Token.
That's okay.
Dayseeker. There's so many Dayseeker songs. This is a good playlist. Woo-hoo. It's paying. It's paying back.
It's paying.
And then what is it? You listen to modern rock and rock-ish.
That's my favorite one.
Which includes heavy rock, new age rock, headbanging, rocking on, weightlifting. Cool.
Oh.
And modern metal. What does modern metal consist of? Mostly Bad Omens.
What's in your weightlifting?
Got it.
What's in your weightlifting?
Weightlifting. Purely dedicated. The first song is Slayer by Bryce Savage.
Sure.
Get that like high def sound. That's the new iPad. That's insane. Sounds like a good one. I might add that to my queue. Listen to that on the way home.
Woot woot.
Sweet. And back to the notes.
Yeah, because we have 4 speakers now.
Sick. It's so good. When I bought my my iPad and my MacBook, because I bought them like a day apart, like a genius.
You're rich. It's okay.
Yeah, I was rich for that like 2 days, and then I'm poor again. It was quick, but the sound difference on the new MacBook opposed to my 2012.
I bet.
I listened to it for hours just being like, yes, surround sound. It's better than a broken speaker, which I had to replace.
Right. Yes.
Yes.
And Apple just announced all this BS.
BS?
I just didn't want to swear. All of their stuff in the keynote, and sure, there's some cool things, and I'm happy to finally have a calculator on my iPad.
Oh, finally!
It only took so long.
Like favorite app.
And
they need to I'm sorry, we have to take 2 seconds to talk about this. They need to work on the calculator app for the MacBook. It's too small.
It is small,
and you can't resize it, and it's
you can't. I've never even tried.
It only lets you. It does let you do some really cool stuff. Like it has the scientific calculator, but then it also has like programming calculator too. Very interesting.
Oh, okay.
Very interesting.
And everyone's like, "Oh, we can make all our apps the same color, and we can move them where we want to." Yeah. And I'm like, I still don't even have widgets. And I was telling everyone at work, and they were all so shocked. And I was like, I haven't taken the time, because if I'm gonna get a widget look going, it needs to look nice.
It has to look good.
I have to actually sit and like and I plan it out. Yeah, no.
There's some people who did that shortcut thing where they redesigned their whole entire iPads and iPhones.
I would die. I tried to do it with Twitter when Twitter was still Twitter, which I accidentally almost updated today. And then I canceled it.
Join the club.
So Apple is doing things. Luckily, my 2020 iMac can survive another year on an update.
Woot!
I think my iPad's okay. My phone's okay.
I should be okay for a few more years other than my phone.
Yeah. And then, they announced Apple Intelligence because they can't call it fucking AI.
Well, I mean, they're playing on the...
Yeah. And records. There's, like, certain things, sure, whatever, but some of it's creepy, and I hope I can turn some of it off.
Well, they're just using, like, the Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Like, they just enterprised through Chat GPT to use there because there's no topping that right now.
No.
It's insane. Have you heard the giant... I think we touched on this last week. Did you hear the huge hullabaloo about Adobe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, people are taking it wrong, in my opinion, but...
Yeah.
You actually read through the terms, it's no different. They need a license to open any of your files, because if they didn't have a license to open your files and read them, then you'd never be able to actually use a program ever.
Yeah, we did talk about it. It's just been all over my Twitter. And I mean, maybe Canada is different because it hasn't happened.
It hasn't updated yet. And honestly, I ain't leaving Adobe. Sorry.
There is nothing out there.
There's nothing comparative. I don't care if you're gonna shove it in my face and say, yeah, this is... Listen, I use CorelDRAW. I've used Affinity, which, don't get me wrong, still sick program, but just not as powerful. It's not. There's no comparative. And yeah, Adobe does have its like drawbacks in some places, but like to use the 3 design programs together, there was no other... Well,
even when I was exporting our posts out of Affinity, it was different.
Yeah, it's different.
And it's all vector. It's still vector. I chose the highest settings and everything.
Sorry, not settings. I mean, like, it's a different processor for the graphics.
Yeah, it's... Sadly, they rule.
Yeah. Well, they're industry standard for a reason. They've had a lot of time to build. And it just would be nice to see more... Hey, here's the feedback. Please actually listen to what we're telling you. Instead of offering more AI junk that it's interesting now, but in a year from now, it's like, oh, it's a beta tool. Great. So exciting. But a year from now, everybody's going to be so into using AI and it's already done. Like,
yeah. I mean, it works to an extent. Sometimes it works, especially in Photoshop. I asked it to remove a paint bucket today, and it just made the paint bucket look newer. Nope. I wanted it gone. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
That's when I want to remove stuff, I just use content aware fill. I don't even talk to AI anymore.
Yeah. I should try and do that tomorrow morning.
Try it.
So, that was a bit of a tangent. I don't really care.
It's our podcast.
It is our podcast. They've been good at like an hour.
Yeah, they're fine.
So they can talk for an hour and a half if today needs to be an hour and a half.
Sweet.
If you don't want to listen, that's too bad.
Yeah. We're entering into a new era today. Are we going to call it what I texted you earlier?
Sure.
The true crime chat time.
Yes.
Yes. Always important, just like our lovely MFM peeps.
If you don't know what MFM is, it's My Favorite Murder by Karen Kilgariff and Georgia Hardstark, and we love them.
We love them. It's always important, as they do, to recognize that these are serious situations and they're upsetting. And if we are joking or laughing, it is not in the reading or understanding of what's occurred. It's just how we process
very
and
traumatic things. And I guess trigger warning one of mine is going to talk about sexual assault. So if you don't want to, or not if you don't want to, nobody wants to listen to it. If you are triggered by that, I will just speak and I'll let them know when to stop listening.
Yeah.
And I can put a timestamp in our description.
Excellent.
The first one I don't think would be triggering, but anything's triggering. This is a heavy topics. People are being murdered, so.
Yep.
Of course, condolences to all of the victims. I managed to get names of everybody, which is good.
You having like a multi-victim serial killing party over there?
Both of them, yeah.
Okay. Mine's just one murder, so yeah, I don't have a list of people. I didn't go that deep into the murder cycle here. Listen, it's our first episode on murders.
I know.
No, nobody wants to listen after this.
Oh, Muriel at work? She's going to listen. She asked for this.
It's the only episode to listen to. Fair.
That's fine. But yeah, so I'm going to start and then Erin will sandwich and I will end. So the first one, I don't know if you've heard of this.
Probably not.
Her name is Elizabeth Wetlaufer, I think. Both mine are Canadian. So she is Canada's only known healthcare serial killer. And the only reason she is caught is because she confessed to all of her murders, which were 8 patients who had been in her care between 2007 and 2016.
Oh, so this was actually like recent too.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I either researched it in high school or I researched it in college. Okay. So that's why I knew about it. And why I could get my research done so fast. So she was born in Woodstock, Ontario in 1967. Her family were a part of a very strict fundamentalist Baptist group, and she was often a target for bullies when she was young. So from a young age, she struggled with her sexuality and in turn was sent to gay conversion therapy, which probably didn't aid in anything later on in life.
No.
So she grew up and she struggled with a lot of mental health issues. She attended Conestoga College in Kitchener, Ontario, where she studied nursing, and she became a registered nurse in 1995. In 1997, she married Daniel Wetlaufer, and they were together for 11 years before they divorced. They didn't have any kids. And she stated that the divorce caused her stress and that the anger played a role in her decision to start killing.
Interesting.
She was also frustrated from having to deal with dementia patients who were difficult to control.
Yeah.
You kind of also signed up for that.
That's
also not a reason to kill somebody.
That's definitely not a reason to kill somebody. If anything, it's just a reason to develop more compassion for people who are suffering through these serious.
Yeah. So she also suffered from alcohol and opioid addictions and went to rehab twice. She was diagnosed with major depressive disorder, borderline personality disorder, and antisocial adult behavior.
But we still let people.
Like,
I mean, I shouldn't say.
No, I
still
understand.
Let people, but like, when you're ticking off a crazy bingo checklist of
whether her work knew
murder prep, is
know.
there a head injury on the way?
No,
that leads to this even worse.
She admitted to stealing medications from her work that were in a locked safe because they were a dead patient's medications. Meds. But she said she was sober every time she killed someone.
Justification. That makes it all better. Sarcasm.
She also often posted poetry online under the pen name Betty Watson that was dark. Some pieces described killing. Others touched on her love life and personal struggles.
I just like, it's a combination
of so many things.
It's not even, it's so purposeful.
Like, so
there's so many like red flags.
So many red flags.
But obviously not a social enough person to really trigger red flags in anyone she knew.
Just wait.
Uh-oh.
So she worked at a place called Crescent Care, and I'm going to call them out because they got in trouble eventually, so I'm allowed to say their name. It's in articles.
It's probably in some legal documents too that are public now.
It's a nursing home in Woodstock. So she worked there from 2007 to 2014, and she killed 7 people during this time.
Oh, those poor people. So
the first one, it was 84-year-old James Silcox. That was her first victim. Then it was 84-year-old Maurice Grantat. And then 87, Gladys Millard. 95, Helen Matheson. 96, Mary Zurawinski. I think that's how you pronounce it.
That sounds about right.
90-year-old Helen Young. And 79-year-old Maureen Pickering. So Elizabeth injected her victims with a fatal dose of insulin. So they're old. She's injecting them with insulin. Yeah. It's like you're not going to notice. All the families just assume that they died from natural causes because they're already in a nursing home.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's still like, that's so dark. And they were all women?
No. They're just all old.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I think there's quite a few women, though.
Catching the names.
So just days after she murdered her last victim, Maureen, she was fired for continuous medication errors.
Clearly.
Yes.
We weren't noticing the fact that all these people were dying and insulin was crazy going missing.
It looks like she killed like a person a year. I don't have all the dates.
That's wild.
But that's nuts. So she had jobs at a couple more care facilities before she left nursing in 2016. But in 2014, she killed her last victim at Meadow Park in London, Ontario. And his name was Arpad Horvath, and he was 75 years old.
Oh, that's young.
I know. It said he was like married and had kids. And I was like, Arpad.
I mean, all of these people were probably married and had kids and grandkids.
But they made that a note in the article, and I was like,
oh, that hits hard.
So before she was arrested, she had openly admitted to her crimes to multiple people. So they didn't believe her, they dismissed her, or they said they'd turn her in if she did it again.
How about investigation? Stopping, alerting the proper authorities.
Right? So it wasn't until she checked herself into rehab at CAMH, which is the Center for Addictions and Mental Health in Toronto, on September 16th, 2016, only a couple weeks after she had been assigned to administer insulin to children, and she was afraid she wouldn't be able to resist harming them. So she checked herself into rehab.
Oh, so she draws the line at children, but like, people over the age of 74, fair game.
Yeah. So when she was in rehab, it didn't take long before she was spilling her guts again, right? She's telling people what she's done. So, of course, the trained professionals went to the police and the College of Nurses of Ontario.
Give them some credit. They are trained professionals. They have to take that stuff very seriously.
Yes.
Whereas if she was telling people that maybe...
I don't know who she told before, but it was multiple people. Like, Erin, if I ever tell you that I've killed someone, please take it seriously.
I saw the signs. They were leading... I don't know if I could. I could send you to jail or prison or whatever. What do we do in Canada? Do we just send people to the North Pole now?
We send them to Montreal.
I'm close enough.
So she admitted to feeling a red surge before killing her victims and a laughing feeling once she had completed the killing.
That's definitely a mental health.
Just wait. She also noted that God was telling her to kill. In one case, she reasoned the murder with the thought that her patient was no longer enjoying life. Who made you God?
Yeah, who told you that one? Did you ask this patient? I mean, if they had dementia, maybe not so easy to have conversations. But still, no, those poor people.
I know. So she was interviewed by police on September 29th, 2016, and she was arrested on October 24th. And when the news broke, media was like, what the hell? Like, this
I don't
nurse
even
is
remember
killing
any
people.
of this.
I kind of remember it.
We have the worst news in this country.
I must have done it in high school because it was 2016.
Fair.
2016, 2017. So on June 1st, 2017, she pled guilty to a total of 14 charges. So 8 counts of first-degree murder, 4 counts of attempted murder, and 2 counts of aggravated assault. She was sentenced to life in prison with no choice of parole for 25 years. And she since, I don't know, like since when, has been transferred to a psychiatric facility in Montreal. And I have written, I repeat, why do they all go there?
why does everyone end up in Montreal?
And she's still there. I found an article from 2022, but that was the most recent. But that is Elizabeth Wettlaufer. I think that's how you pronounce her name.
Okay. That
serial killer nurse in Ontario.
I had no clue. Especially like women are not typically serial killers.
Nope.
So that's wild, especially in Canada. Usually they're like associated with a serial killer or helping or, you know, I always forget words as I'm trying to find them.
That's okay.
Stockholm syndroming.
Yeah.
Yes. I knew it started with an S. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
I remember hearing that for the first time, and it's still just as what the fuck now.
Yeah, that's so strange, and it's so close to home.
Yeah.
That this could be even happening.
Well, and I mean,
even in 2016.
All the things that happen in old folks' homes and nursing homes, like people are treated like trash.
Oh, I know. My grandfather was one of them. That's why he passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. Long time ago.
But yeah, so.
Yeah, not pleasant.
Yeah.
And that's why it's hard to be like, you don't want your parents to go to a nursing home because you don't trust any of the people.
No, of course.
Especially people our age who...
Yeah, no.
It's hard to trust their education and dedication. Some people... I shouldn't say that. We should just cut that out. Okay. My murder is from Italy.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'll just walk into it. This is the murder of Meredith Kircher.
Okay.
It occurred in 2007. It was a complex case involving a brutal crime, followed by controversial trials, and a crazy media frenzy, which we would never have seen because, well, you were a baby.
I was 8.
A baby. And I was probably too focused on anime or something, or getting ready to go into high school, I think. Yep. So Meredith Kircher was, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly.
I know I'm
terrible at names. Was a 21-year-old British student staying at the University of, I'm going to get this wrong, Perugia in Italy. She was an exchange student from the University of Leeds, known for her academic diligence and a passion for languages. She shared an apartment with 3 other women, including American student Amanda Knox. Dun, dun, dun. It's actually really complicated. I briefly read over this. I know I should have researched harder.
I don't know I know Amanda Knox is like not good, but I can't remember why. But keep going.
Amanda Knox was also 21 at the time and had moved to Perugia. I'm really hoping I'm pronouncing that right.
That's okay.
To study Italian. She was dating Raffaele Solicito. Don't know if that was pronounced right either. Sorry. An Italian student who became a key figure in the case. And there was a third person named Rudy Guedes. And probably pronouncing that terribly wrong too. Why did I pick an Italian case?
I don't know.
I have Italian friends. This is not going to end well.
Oh.
Was a 20-year-old Ivorian immigrant with a history of minor criminal activities and became a central figure in this investigation.
Okay.
So we're going to go to the crime now. On the evening of November 1st, 2007, Meredith Kircher was found dead in her bedroom in the apartment she shared with Amanda Knox and 2 other women. She had been sexually assaulted and suffered multiple stab wounds, including a fatal cut to her neck. The scene showed signs of a struggle with a significant amount of blood present. Not exactly what you wanted to have happen when you're studying in Italy.
No.
The investigation quickly turned into a media circus. They had lots of DNA. They had bloody footprints.
Oh.
And they had behavior that made people think, people say, what were they thinking? And we're going to introduce Amanda Knox. Again, she was 21, studying in Perugia, was dating a local guy named Raphael. Beautiful name. Raphael. Knox and this is his last name, Solicito, quickly became persons of interest. Well, why? Knox gave conflicting statements about her whereabouts that night, and their behavior was unconventional for people who had just discovered a murder. So basically they were acting a little suspicious after this whole thing went down, especially since Amanda Knox was her roommate.
Yeah.
They were seen outside the crime scene kissing and canoodling, which doesn't exactly scream traumatized by murder.
No.
So entering the scene is Rudy, a guy with a bit of a dodgy past and some seriously bad timing. His DNA was all over the place.
Oh.
On Meredith's body, her clothes, you name it, it was there. So the trials following were apparently very much like an Italian drama.
Oh.
Yeah, meaning like reality TV. It was just kind of really weird. Guetti, which was Rudy, got a very speedy trial and was sentenced to 30 years.
Oh.
Later reduced to 16.
Oh.
And if that seems like a bargain, just wait for Knox and Solicito.
Okay.
Solicito. They were not as lucky. They were convicted in 2009.
Okay.
And Knox got 26 years. Solicito got 25. It gets even weirder. In 2011, their convictions were overturned.
Which means thrown out?
Yeah. So they walked out of prison probably thinking it was time to, change their names and move somewhere, because that would probably be that's a few years in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Italian justice system just couldn't let it go. So they reopened the case and they were convicted again in 2014, because it's a completely different legal system.
Yeah.
So they can go ahead and do
Is
that.
this why Amanda Knox has been in the news?
Probably.
I thought she killed her daughter or something.
No, that's a different one.
Oh.
That's an American story. This is Italy. We'll cover that. And finally, in 2015, Italy's highest court said, okay, that's enough. They're free to go. And it was just insane. So the media had painted Amanda Knox as everything from the innocent girl next door to a devilish femme fatale. She even got the nickname Foxy Knoxy, which sounds more like a cartoon character than a murder suspect. The media's role in this case was like pouring gasoline on a fire and then wondering why things got out of hand. But what really stirred the pot were the controversies. The police were accused of botching the crime scene and contaminating evidence.
Whoa!
Which is not recommended when you're trying to solve a murder.
Put on gloves.
Especially since it's 2007.
Yeah, you should know better.
Like, watch CSI. That's all I'm saying. So forensic experts actually criticized the DNA evidence, calling it unreliable. And then the court system on top of this was like a never-ending game of ping pong, just like back and forth trying to make these decisions. Do we convict them? Do we not convict them? There was apparently huge flaws in the Italian legal system. And this actually started debates on fair trials, especially for people from different countries, not from Italy, because they had to have that trial. Like, they were American, but yeah. So Amanda Knox is back in the U.S., ironically advocating for justice reform and talking about her experience. I don't know if that's ironic or just fitting. Raphael has moved on with his life and has wrote a book.
Oh, about his life in this?
I don't know.
Just okay.
Look into that. Rudy was released in 2021 after serving 13 years.
That's a long time.
It's still a short stint for murder.
Yeah, but yeah.
Even though I don't know what the details of the case were, they did convict these folks. So the murder of Meredith Kircher remains a tragic example of how things can go terribly wrong when justice, media, and flawed forensic science collide. It's a case that reminds us to look deeper, question the narrative, and maybe, just maybe, keep our kisses and canoodling for a more appropriate setting.
No PDA, people.
Yeah, or you might end up in jail for murder.
Damn.
There's some deeper details I went into on like Reddit, and there's a huge 2-hour podcast about this too that I'd have to look into. Maybe we can post on the highlights or whatever. That breaks down all of the evidence and what they had against them. Apparently they had shut off their cell phones that night that she was murdered, and it was all
three
like
of them?
The couple.
Okay.
So, but apparently she had shut her phone off because her phone was dying, and he had thrown his phone in the corner because where it didn't get service, so it didn't qualify as being on, and they were apparently doing the dirty while their phones were off. So it obviously sounds like a little bit of a complex case because of situational things. So not quite sure who did the murder there, because this
like all three of them got shit.
Yeah, like that's wild. Usually it comes down to like
one or two.
One. Yeah. Next time I'll actually do some deeper research.
That's okay. Hey, you did it before you came here.
Yep.
That's okay.
Yep. That was pretty crazy.
So I've got another serial killer. He is Canadian. I've never heard of him. If you are triggered by sexual assaults in any way, I probably suggest that you don't listen to this murder. Not that I'm going to go into detail, but I am going to say the R word a couple times. So
yeah.
And he has a nickname and the R word is in it. So this is your moment. Probably should have asked Erin if this was going to be triggering. I'm sorry.
No, I'm already. I'm good.
Okay,
we do both listen to true crime podcasts. So
I've never heard of this man. I just Googled Canadian serial killers, and he was in the top thing at the top of the Google page.
Okay.
His name is Wayne Bowden. He was nicknamed the Vampire Rapist.
Creepy.
Yep. So he murdered 4 women between 1968 and 1971.
Okay, so very short stint.
Very short stint. He was born in Dundas, Ontario on January 1st, 1948, and there's really nothing about him online other than he played football in high school, so maybe he got hit in the head.
Probably. There's a lot of head injuries and concussions involved with football. So
yes. So in October of 1969, 20-year-old Shirley Audette is found behind her apartment complex, fully clothed. And after examining the body, it was found that Shirley had been raped, strangled, and there were bite marks all over her breasts.
That's freaking weird.
There were no signs of struggle, and her boyfriend, later it's found out, they were Wayne's neighbors.
Oh.
So that's cool.
Rest in peace, Shirley.
In November of the same year, Marielle Archambault left work with a man named Bill. Sorry, these are all in Montreal right now.
Okay.
With a man named Bill, and didn't return the next morning. So her employer, being a nice employer, was concerned, went to check on her. She was dead on her couch. She was fully clothed. The room which was tiny. There was no indication of struggle anywhere. Autopsy revealed same fate as Shirley. She's strangled, she's raped, she has bite marks all over her boobs. Breasts, I should say. In January of 1970, Jean Way's boyfriend went over to her apartment to pick her up. Door was locked. He's knocking. She's not answering. So he leaves. He comes back later. Door is unlocked. She is discovered naked and deceased on her bed.
Same story.
Same story. And it's also believed that Wayne was in the apartment when her boyfriend first showed up. So it interrupted his routine of redressing her after he bit her breasts. Jean was only 24.
Oh, sweet babies.
I know. So in 1971, Montreal heard the last of Wayne, but he was not finished.
Oh, no.
Instead, he was in Calgary, Alberta.
That's a huge jump.
So, in May of 1971, a 33-year-old teacher named Elizabeth Ann Porteous, I think I'm pronouncing that wrong, didn't show up for work. A manager called her apartment complex and asked, the building guy to check on her. She was found on the floor of her bedroom. She was dead. Unlike the other victims, there was a sign of struggle. And a broken cufflink was found underneath the body. So she showed the same, showed the same fate as the rest of the woman. She was strangled, she was raped, and she had bite marks. And she was said to have been dating a man named Bill.
Oh.
So 2 of Elizabeth's co-workers, bless these people, noted she had been seen with a young man and a blue Mercedes that had a weird beef decal on the back window.
Beef?
Beef. Like cows.
Oh, weird beef?
Yeah. Like cows.
Cows.
For like a butcher. So, the cops then found Wayne's car, the blue Mercedes with the fucking decal, near Elizabeth's house a few days later.
That's crazy.
So they waited. He comes back to the car. They arrest him. They're like, you okay? So he mentioned how he had moved from Montreal the year before and admitted to seeing her the night she was murdered. The final missing puzzle piece was confirmed by an orthodontist.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you're leaving.
So they matched the cast of his teeth to Elizabeth.
You're leaving some of the most obvious evidence.
So he then, shipped back to Montreal for trial. He confessed to only 3 of the 4 murders. I don't know why. You wouldn't just do them all. You fucking did them.
Yeah, it's not going to change your sentence. You're still going to fucking prison.
In February of 1972, he was sentenced to 3 additional life terms. I don't know what they mean by additional. It didn't say,
I don't know. Our justice system is so weird about... It's like 25 years to life, no parole, but then we make other freaking...
Yeah.
Oh, it's so weird.
So, because it's 1972, he went to the Kingston Penitentiary, which I thought was kind of neat, because that's closed now.
Yeah.
In 1977, get this, American Express approved him for a fucking credit card. He's in prison, which he used... He has since moved, clearly, on a day out, on a day pass from a Laval prison where we just were. And he escaped, and he was captured 36 hours later because he was eating lunch at the Mount Royal Hotel in downtown Montreal.
No.
What? What is...
Okay. We just let prisoners...
We get day passes?
Day passes? And also, how do you apply for a visa? Or,
American
Amex?
Express gotten some kerfuffles. Like, who's approving a fucking prisoner?
Are you doing a background check here? Or like what? Like it's super hard to get a credit card these days.
Maybe the 1970s were...
No, you know what? Yeah, because that was the age of, like, the dawn of credit cards. Yeah. So it makes sense. I forgot what years these were going on. And, like, they didn't have technology back then. It was you just get a plastic card and they swipe it.
Yeah.
It takes forever to trace back.
So he actually died at Kingston Regional Hospital in March 2006 from skin cancer.
Good fucking riddance.
Goodbye, Wayne.
Finally a person that likely deserved it.
Yep. So that's Wayne Bowden.
Wrong.
So weird. So I've never heard of this.
So weird. There has to be something there in his history that would
Right?
spark that. It doesn't add up. I don't think there's got to be more. There would have to be like lead ups to that, whether it was sexual assaults prior that weren't necessarily murders.
Something's
they
gotta
don't
happen.
usually just start.
No.
Unless something triggered.
He's got a routine though, and that's fucking weird.
That's a really fucked up routine. Also, not very bright on the whole like inconspicuous front when you have a very obvious decal and vehicle.
And then park it near the crime scene a couple days later and come back to your car. You're dumb. Yeah, that it's weird that 3 out of 4 no signs of struggle.
Yeah.
I'm like, what was going on? And I read a little bit because I got his story from a couple different places, and some of I just hit the mic. Some of the content was conflicting, so, and I didn't write it down, but they found a cufflink. It was later said, he was dressed like a flashy man, as her coworker said, and he was missing a cufflink, so that
what's his name again?
Wayne Bowden. He looks weird. Sorry, not like, he doesn't look like a flashy man. At least my Google didn't make him look flashy.
Well, it's not supposed to be flashy.
They described him as flashy.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. There's like a book about it too.
Maybe he was like sweet talking ladies or something like that. I don't know. It's so strange.
And the whole, let's give him a credit card.
Yeah, and how old would he have been?
If he was born in 1948 and this was in 1970, so he's 29.
Yeah.
So he's young.
Yeah.
Damn.
So
those are our murder stories.
Yeah, they're a little bit briefer than I would have. I think in the next take, I'll probably do deeper research. Actually start to research instead of waiting.
That's okay. All the research that I also found was like all the articles were brief.
Yeah. Well, that our podcast would be like 3 hours long if we really sat down and researched, because I know both of us could probably just wax poetically for quite a bit.
But yes, sorry if any of this is triggering. Sorry if this is heavy.
Fuck serial killers and murderers.
Jesus.
Red flags all around.
I want to say what Georgia and Karen say, but I think I'll get sued, so.
Yeah, we don't want to copyright.
No.
No.
If you like true crime, I do highly recommend their podcast.
Yeah, we'll recommend them all day long.
I think I can put it as a recommendation for more like this, but it's not like us.
No, unfortunately, we're not as cool as Georgia and Karen.
But yes, MFM, aka My Favorite Murder.
If you like true crime podcasts with a little touch of comedy, respectful comedy,
yes,
then they're the go-to.
Yes.
Free advertising.
Erin.
Yeah.
What is your give back?
Oh, I have one. I found one on the way here, like all of my last minute research this week.
You had one in here already.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, but I found a good one.
Okay. Go ahead.
Did I write something?
Yeah, you did.
Must have done it earlier today.
Fuck it. Give 2.
Give 2. Give back for both. Oh yeah, it was that one because this will be coming out next week after we see the show. So I picked that one. It's Take My Nirvana by Paris, because that song is freaking awesome.
I think it's just called Nirvana, but yes.
No, Take My Nirvana.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I thought I wrote it down off of my phone.
It might be.
My second one, because I have a second one, is called The Dead Come Talking.
Oh.
By Rogue Capara.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it kind of came on my Discover Weekly.
Yeah.
I always want to call it Discovery Weekly because it reminds me of the Discovery Channel, but that's not right.
That's okay. This week, because my TikTok is full of Chapel Roan, and I forget what her actual real name is. And she's blowing up. And she just performed at the Gov Ball in the UK.
Yes.
And it was so wild to see that crowd. So wild. So it's a feminine phenomenon.
Feminine phenomenon.
It's a good song.
I saw you write that in. Like, I watched you type that.
It's hard to type.
It is hard to type.
It's very hard to type.
Especially when your phone wants to autocorrect everything.
Yes.
Yes.
So that is my gift back.
Feminine phenomenon.
Yep.
By Chapel.
Chapel.
I
say Chapel. I think it's Chapel.
Okay. Sorry. Because there's 2 P's. So I
I
want to
know.
pronounce the second. And it's Pell.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways. Chapel Rowan.
Mm-hmm.
Because you said it very quickly and I barely heard.
Sorry.
That's okay. I'm just repeating it for the listeners.
Um,
And if she comes to Toronto, we're both going to go see her.
It looks so fun.
Or them.
Although I did.
Sure.
I think she goes by her.
Respect.
I think she said, though, after something tour or music or an album, she was going to go back to school.
Cool. Do it.
So
School's fun.
I don't know. I don't think she's that old. I think I
Oh.
might be older than her. But her stage presence is crazy. I'll show you some videos when we're done.
Yeah.
So, thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to rate, like, follow, and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. I thought you were going to make it sound. Click the link in our bio to find us everywhere on the internet and let us know your thoughts, your questions, and your comments by sending us an email at unapologeticintroverts@gmail.com. We shall see you next week. Erin, you got any closing remarks?
She's 26 years old. Her birthday is on February 19th, 1998.
God damn it. She's a year and 18 days older than me. 19 days. 18.
You almost had a twinsies.
Damn it. She has really curly hair.
Really, really curly hair. Anyways, no, I don't have any closing remarks other than that. And don't be a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
Be a nice human.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
That is all.
Bye.
Goodbye.